Hey guys, welcome. Today we are going to be covering rifles and pretty much a basic grip and stance when we are holding the weapon. Pretty much, and you'll see a lot of these platforms, they are platforms on set for action movies and sequences like that. This is the more compact version. A lot of people tend to move with the weapon in a very unique way, which doesn't need to happen. When we're working in a CQB environment, we tend to pretty much be as compact and as tight as possible because we're trying to navigate through areas, especially if we don't know if there's anything behind the doors or there's furniture or anything like that that might alert whoever's on the other side. So we try to be as tight as possible, not flaring out our elbows too much. And if we do, it's usually pretty much that the armor that we're wearing is gonna make our elbows pop off a little bit. But there shouldn't be any reason why you're traveling with the weapon in this direction, both pistol or rifle, not at all whatsoever. One of the things, like I said, because of the armor that we're wearing, you tend to pretty much have the weapon push out a little bit more. If you want to try to creep it in, try to bring the weapon in just so it's resting on the chest. There's no need to hold the weapon this close or be walking around in this manner, especially for camera purposes. I always tell my actors and my stunt performers, especially for stunt performers, if they don't want to see your face, good, just bring the weapon up into a proper procedure and hold the weapon in that. Say you're covering your face, but they're still able to see a body with the weapon. For my actors, there's no need to be so crouching so high. You can slightly come down that you are still being able to control your front sight with your rear sight and maintain positive and control actual targets, so that if you're passing through camera, they can still see your face and the weapon at the same time to know that you're entering a high threat area. Because they cast to your face, not the weapon. The weapon they can always replace your face as well, but they cast to your face. Another thing that I want to cover as well is weapons placement on your front. So obvious positive control, I tend to try to tell my students, hey, if you can, find this little groove and hold your finger there. That's pretty much should be your rest point. If you tend to go any bit higher than that, most people tend to do this because they're trying to keep their finger straight and off the trigger, and they exaggerate that finger, and that finger is usually pressing on the magazine release while you're walking by and you're moving around and you're doing something like this, and the magazine just drops straight in front of camera. Seen it happen so many times, it looks freaking comical. Don't do it. There's ways to go around it. Anytime that we're going and maneuvering, understand that the weapon is gonna move around you. You don't need to move around the weapon. Okay, if you're coming in and it's a tight spot and you're up here, just bring the weapon down. Right when you pass through that threshold, push the weapon where it needs to be. As far as our front hand placement, one of the things that we want to try to cover on, this is a front, like this is pretty much a hand grip. The proper nomenclature for this is a hand grip. Okay, all of this is where your hand's supposed to be. Some you'll find a pose, you can hold the pose, or you can pretty much grab the weapon in a way that you're cradling the front of it, or you're actually having a proper hand position that you have positive control of the weapon. I tend to see a lot of people, especially with small compact weapons like this, grab it right there by the magazine. That is retarded. And the only reason that I say that is retarded is because the weapon is compact already. You don't need to make it any more compact, especially if you're traveling and I see guys doing this shit, it looks ridiculous. Most of the time, like I said, you're bringing the weapon up to able to provide a positive control that when you are going to engage in your target, everything that you're doing, you're pretty much creating a platform with your arms to be able to control the recoil of the weapon. Now, these weapons don't kick a lot. If they don't kick at all, pretty much if you're consistent with your grip and your posture, if anything, the weapon is not going to ride any more than this. If you're doing any of this shit, it's going to pretty much look weird. Avoid from doing this. Granted, there are some other platforms like M16s that are longer, pretty much extended, fixed butt stocks, and the barrels are definitely longer. For those, when you're maneuvering through CQB or any close quarter combat, yes, at that moment, you come back in. But the main thing is we don't want to rest our hand on the actual magazine. We want to find that crater to be able to rest our pinky right above the magazine. Then from that point, once we pass wherever we need to push, then we can go back to going and holding the rail in the front. Like I said, that's one of the biggest things that I see that people get always wrong, and it becomes more like a sheep mentality because like, oh, I saw somebody do it, I'm gonna do it too, and this is cool. And buttstock is compressed, and the weapon is a small weapon, and they're like this. They're pretty much just walking around looking like freaking Goof Troop. You can adjust the buttstock to rest on your actual shoulder, bring the weapon in so you look more tactical and at the same more competent, that if I do need to maneuver and get into any situation, that I can come in and the weapon will go straight down. There's no reason for my weapon to do this or do this or do any other crazy shit. Just hold the weapon in a positive control. All you're doing is you're maintaining positive control. Now, if your weapon is gonna leave your side or actually your front, it can go straight down. We want to try to emphasize, like I said, having positive control of the weapon, looking like we're proficient and we've been around a weapon before. So that's a tad bit. If anything, please let me know. Like I said, please stay safe. If not, stay deadly. See you on the next one, guys.